Jennifer from Sea Lemon. A while ago I posted in my community tab that I wanted to try some dollar store DIYs, and I asked you guys what kind of videos you want to see on that. A lot of you wanted to see DIY bullet journals, and a lot of you liked up those comments. So in this video I'm going to show you how to upgrade notebooks into bullet journals from the dollar store and how to make them from scratch, all using dollar store items. And even if you don't bullet journal, you can still use these as regular notebooks and journals. So I went to my local dollar store to see what I could find, and I did try to buy all my tools and materials there. I did have to substitute some of my own supplies, which I already had on hand, but whether you go to the dollar store to get these supplies or somewhere else, I want the main takeaway from this video to be that you can be resourceful and you don't always need expensive supplies to make your own journals. Before we get into it, make sure you are subscribed to my channel so you don't miss any of my videos. I put one up every week, and be sure to hit that bell so you can be the first to get notified for when I post a new video. All right, let's get into it. To my surprise, there were a lot of decent notebooks at the dollar store, but with potential to have better covers. So first, I'll show you some DIY ideas on how you can upgrade the covers for your journals. This little journal is actually pretty decent for it only being $1. It has an elastic band, it has a hardcover, lined pages. The design on the cover is okay, it's really not my style, so I'd like to change it. Dollar Tree had a whole section of stickers and wall decals, and I thought these big wall stickers could work well on the cover. I found these gemstone stickers, and they come in a lot of different styles and designs, and they're large, so they can cover a lot of surface on your cover. And they're made for walls, so they're a little bit thicker and more durable, which is good for the outside of a book. I wrapped a few of these stickers on the front cover and wrapped them around to the inside of the book, and also put them on the back. This is also a good way to hide any blemishes or scratches or stains that you already have on your journals. These are repositional, so you can take them off, they're easy to remove, and you can put on new stickers if you want a new design, or if you find the corners are sticking up or you want them to be more permanent, you can glue them down. This was a super easy and fast way to update the cover of this journal, and let me know what you guys think. Do you like the gemstones or the old cover? Next, I'll show you an idea on how to wrap the cover of this composition book. In case you're looking to upgrade your composition book with hardcovers, I do already have a tutorial for that. You can check this out right here, and I will also link it down below. For this version, I'm going to show you how to make a slip-on book cover with this tote bag that I found at the dollar store. This material seems waterproof, which could add a little bit more durability to the journal. And the tote bags come in a lot of different designs. This one was the best out of the ones that they had at the dollar store, so I'm going with this, and I'm just going to cut it open so I can lay it flat. Making sure you have enough area to wrap the book, start tracing the back, which will be the back cover. Then hold the spine in place while you flip it over so you can trace the front cover. Now to make the flaps, which will form a pocket for the book cover to slip into, I'm going to trace half of the width of the cover. So I just moved over the book halfway and traced that. And this measurement doesn't have to be perfect, just make sure there's enough for the cover to slip into. And do the same thing for the other side. Now cut off the sides where you marked those flaps. Fold them over where you marked. And add glue to the top and bottom of the flap just outside the marks that you made, so there's enough room for the book to slide in. Now glue the flap over to make a pocket and repeat that same process on the other side. Then you can cut the rest of the material off the top and bottom of the cover, and make sure you cut outside of the glue line so the top and bottom of the cover will hang over the book just a little bit. You can also round off the corners in case they're too pointy. Now you can slide in one cover first into the pocket, and slightly bend the book upwards so you can fit the other cover in the other side. And there's your upgraded book cover that only cost $1 for your journal. And if you really like the cover design, you can just keep switching out the journals inside so you can keep on using the same slip-on book cover. Next, I'll show you how to upgrade the covers of your basic spiral-bound notebook. This little notebook was only $1 and it could make a decent bullet journal. The cover isn't too bad, but if that's not your style, here's how to change it. Instead of just gluing a piece of paper to the cover, I'm going to show you how to remove the spiral so you can add the new design to your cover and make it look more seamless. First, tie or clamp your whole notebook together so all the pages are held securely. Then with pliers, slightly bend the ends outward so that you can rotate the wire off. And do this carefully so you don't damage the shape of the spiral too much. Also be careful on the ends because some of the wires can be sharp. While still keeping the pages together, you can slip out the front and back cover. The dollar store had a lot of fun greeting cards, which can also make great book covers. They were 2 for $1, so that worked perfect for the front and back cover, and the size is perfect for the smaller sized books. Glue the old cover to the inside of the greeting card, and this will also make a thicker cover for your journal. Repeat that on the back cover as well, and cut them out to match the original size of the covers. Now I'm going to use a thumbtack to pierce through the holes for the binding, and the tip of a pencil to make them the same size as the original cover. Repeat that on every single hole, and now your covers are ready to add back to the pages. Slip them back in the rubber bands and make sure all of the pages are aligned together, and then we can add the spiral back on. Just start with the first hole and continue guiding the wire, rotating it until you get it to the other side. If you have any trouble with this, you can go back and bend the end so it's easier to rotate. Then you can remove the bands and bend the ends of the wire back in and adjust it to be the same shape it was before. You can also go back in with a thumbtack and press in any paper that's sticking out for a more seamless look. And now I think this cheap notebook looks more like an expensive journal, and the book materials only cost me about $2. If you can find paper or greeting cards with a varnish or a metallic finish, that can also upgrade your journal, making it look more expensive than just a dollar store notebook. Now I'm going to show you a couple of options on how to make your own journal from scratch using dollar store materials. It's actually pretty simple to turn a regular spiral-bound notebook into 4 small memo books. And I made a tutorial for this a few years back, so go check it out right here. These are really handy memo books that can make great bullet journals. They're bound with a saddle stitch, and you can find this tutorial in the description. I'm going to make a larger version of this using these portfolios or folders from the dollar store. You can also do this with any other cardboard of your choice. My dollar store didn't have any other blank paper but this computer paper. It's not paper I would usually use for a book project, but for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm going to use one side of the folder for the whole book cover, and I'm keeping the flap in the back because it makes a good book pocket. You can trim off the other side of the folder and use that for another book. Now to bind, fold the first piece of paper in half so you can find a center line. Stack that with the other paper and the folder flush to the edge of the pocket and then clip it in place. Now on that center fold you made, mark the binding holes, and the measurement between them is totally up to you. I went with 1 inch apart starting from the middle. And again, I'm using a cheap thumbtack to pierce through the holes. After you've made all the binding holes, now we can move on to binding the book with thread. And for thread, I'm using dental floss. I couldn't find any decent thread at the dollar store, but they do have waxed floss, which is a little trick in case you can't find any thread. This works, it's strong, it's already waxed, and it works. Cut off a piece that's just a little bit over the length of the spine of the book, and thread it with an embroidery or binding needle, leaving a little tail of thread on the end. And I'm using a saddle stitch bookbinding method for this. And if you don't know how to do this, I do have a tutorial for it, which shows you step by step how to do it in a slower pace so you can easily learn how to do it. And that link will also be in the description below. Now the book is saddle stitched with minty floss. Remove the clips and trim off the excess folder on the top, but leave it on the side for now. Now fold the whole thing over in half and press on the binding area. You can help the book flatten more by adding a heavy weight on top. And if the uneven edges bother you, you can trim all of the pages, including the one side of the cover, to all have a smooth edge. But make sure not to trim the book pocket. And here's our new bullet journal made from 3 dollar store items. It's really up to you how many pages you put in this journal and what kind of paper you use. And I really like how the cover turned out. I like the back pocket, I like the cover design, and the binding turns out pretty well using dental floss. If you have trouble keeping your book closed, you can wrap around a hair elastic, which is also found at the dollar store. They come in multiple colors, and this will act as an elastic closure, and it's easy to put on and remove from your journal. Something else I found at the dollar store were these 3 bound notebooks, and these could be good for a traveler's notebook style journal. You could make these using the saddle stitch method, but since these are already bound, I'm going to show you how to make the cover using rubber bands and a placemat, which are easily found at a dollar store. This type of binding is going to be very similar to my recent Traveler's Journal tutorial, which you can check out right here. I did make the booklets in this project from scratch, so if you want to see how I did this and the cover, check it out up here and down below. First, with a washable marker, I traced the size of the book where I want the front cover to be, leaving about 1/8 of an inch space around it because you want your cover to be a little bit larger than the books. Now holding all 3 booklets in place, I then flip them over so I can estimate the size of the spine and the back cover. And again, tracing about 1/8 of an inch extra space around the book. Then trim out the cover, and you can round the corners if you want to. And wipe off the washable marker if you have a glossy placemat. Now I'm going to make the binding holes in the center of the cover. Fold it in half to make a crease. And here are the measurements I used for the binding holes. I made 1-inch marks about 1/2 inch from the outside cover, and then 1 mark in the center. You can use whatever you have on hand to make large enough holes that will fit rubber bands in those holes. To start the binding, take 2 rubber bands and you're going to knot them together like this. Pull one side through the center of the cover, and cut the other rubber band on the inside in half. So you divide it into 2 pieces. Then pull the ends through each holes on each side. So you should have a cover that looks like this. Then put 1 booklet in the center and stretch both sides so you can tie them together in a knot. This is how you put 1 booklet in, and if you want to put the others, you can place another rubber band around the booklet and place the other booklets in like this. And you can wrap the band that's on the outside of the cover around the whole journal, which holds everything together. And there is your Midori style, traveler style journal made from 3 dollar store items. I thought it was convenient that this placemat was coffee related because most of my bullet journaling takes place when I'm sitting down with my coffee, and because the cover is a placemat, it's basically waterproof and stain resistant. And the advantage of this style of binding is that when you're done with your pages, you can easily remove one of the booklets and replace it with a new one. I hope this video gave you some ideas on how you can upgrade your existing journals or DIY some with inexpensive supplies. Let me know which one was your favorite in the comments, and if you make any of these journals for yourself, I would love to see your pictures, so share your DIYs on my social links, add a #CLemon, and tag me in your pictures. If you want to support this channel and support my efforts to make more bookbinding tutorials on this channel, consider pledging on my Patreon. I will put that link down below. If you're watching this from your phone or your desktop, you can also click right here and click right here to subscribe to my channel. Be sure to hit that bell so you can be the first to get notified when I post new videos. And if you want to jump into another DIY book project, I have a lot in this playlist right here. Also, more bullet journal ideas in this one right here. You can find all of these links and more information in the description below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!